Book of Visions is my longest movie at 14 minutes. It took me a year to complete. For Joan of Arc, I created very detailed backgrounds inspired by medieval illuminated manuscripts that I found at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I looked at the Book of Hours. The illuminations were decorated with miniature paintings from the life of Christ. I researched Black Elk's portion by going to the Museum of the American Indian in Lower Manhattan. I looked at what are called Indian ledger drawings. The Native Americans drew accounts of their great wars in these ledger books obtained from the colonizers because they had no other source of paper. They made elaborate battle scenes and even documented common everyday life. The horses, specifically, were made to look like the horses in the ledger drawings, which I especially enjoyed because those drawings looked like cartoons. For the Joseph Smith segment, I looked at American folk art of the time. I also drew from my own experiences more than in other segments. For example, the inky water and the black ghosts were related to my experience. 3 books I read as a teenager influenced me to create the Book of Visions: the biography of Joan of Arc by Mark Twain, Black Elk Speaks, he was a Lakota indigenous medicine man in chief, and the Joseph Smith history. As a teenager, I had depression. I felt so unhappy and isolated. So when I read about God changing the whole course of human history by revealing his will to teenagers, I wondered, what was God preparing me for? I felt seen. I believed that I might also have a divine destiny. The first thing that sparked my curiosity was the similarities of their 3 accounts. Joseph Smith was a 14-year-old farm boy when he saw God the Father and Jesus Christ. He saw a pillar of light with 2 heavenly beings descending. Black Elk was 9 when he saw 2 messengers descending upon him like 2 arrows of light rushing downward. Black Elk's experience is known as the Great Vision. And Joan was 15 years old when she began seeing Saint Michael and Catherine, who taught her the art of war. I read her biography when I was 17, the same age as she was when she led the French armies to the king. There I was, sitting in the cafeteria of my high school at age 17, so unhappy, reading about 17-year-old Joan, who was conquering the English army. All 3 of these teenagers mentioned visionary trees. Black Elk saw a man standing against a tree with outstretched arms, whose body transformed into all colors of light, and who spoke of the interconnectedness of all beings. Joan spoke of a mythical fairy tree of her childhood where the children would dance. And I think this was Mark Twain's favorite part of the book because he described this tree in great detail. Joseph Smith discovered Lehi's vision of the Tree of Life in the Book of Mormon, and this is the most important metaphor of the entire book. When people watch the Book of Visions, I want them to come to the realization that other children in the world, like them, can go on to do great things because of the ministering of angels, that truth is found in many places, and that the continued ministering of angels is proof that God is a God of miracles. I hope they will notice the great care that it took me to make this movie and somehow equate my respect for the visual detail with the importance of the characters, and think, where else is this happening in the world? When people watch this movie, I want them to feel encouraged. I want them to be surprised and realize that they don't have to be grown-ups to be important to God. God wants to help the youth. Even the youth have an important work to do. I would encourage people to observe contemporary art the same way a person might experience poetry. Like poetry, the meaning can be more abstract. You can actually assign your own meaning to the artwork. It's an open invitation to speculate, to bring your lifetime experiences to the museum, and then view the art through that lens of your own experience. You don't need to rely on the artist's meaning. Sometimes even the artist is not fully aware of the meaning of their work. We just make it. I understand my own work better when I hear other people's reactions to it, and when I talk about it, I can incorporate what other people have said. This is the beauty of contemporary art. The meaning is not always spelled out. If it were literal, it could take away from this joy of discovery. The artist and the viewer may both be searching for meaning in the work. So there are many ways to experience contemporary art.